Welcome to the Pearson Test of English, also known as PTE. This is the essay writing section. The kind of essay that will be discussed here is problems and solutions. But first, let us look at the most important factors that determine how well you've written. This can be summed up in the criteria. The first criteria is content. For this, you have to make sure that whatever you write is relevant to the topic given. The highest marks that you can score for this is 3. The next criteria is form, which basically looks at the organization and the layout of the essay. You are allotted 2 marks for this. The next criteria is development, structure and coherence. 3 components that are extremely important for you to address your topic in a very structured manner. This will enable the examiner to understand what you are trying to say, whether the words you are using and how you are connecting those words to bring out the meaning of the essay. Most importantly, this will determine what kind of message you are trying to portray. The next criteria is extremely important, that is grammar. This consists of everything from tenses to articles, prepositions, nouns, pronouns, adjectives, etc. Most importantly, you must make sure that your sentence structures are correct. You must use a combination of simple as well as complex sentences. The next criteria is general linguistic range. This basically checks the extent to which you can utilize language to properly express or put across the message your essay is trying to give. The next criteria is spelling. In essay writing, in fact in any kind of writing, spelling is extremely important. Incorrect spellings will definitely affect your overall score. You will definitely lose marks. Finally, vocabulary range. This determines the level at which you stand in terms of vocabulary. Your vocabulary could either be simple or it could be complex. But what is more important here is that the vocabulary should fit the kind of task or topic given to you. So except for content, all other criteria have got 2 marks each. So here is a description of the essay and the basic features. Firstly, you will notice that the length requirement is between 200 to 300 words. Remember that development, structure and coherence is extremely important, as this basically checks how you organize your ideas. You must precisely convey your ideas using correct grammar, vocabulary and spelling. Now, here are a few things that you must bear in mind when it comes to evaluation and the possibility of getting a 0 under certain conditions. So the essay is not evaluated and given a 0 right away if the response is totally irrelevant to the prompt. This basically means that you have not understood the topic and you have completely digressed from what was originally asked. The next point is the response is written in any language other than English. If you think that you can put in another language or there are certain words that are easier to write, whatever you write must be explained further, otherwise it will not be counted. The response is written in capital letters. You must use the sentence case while typing onto the screen. And finally, no response given. If you omit the entire essay, you will receive 0. Now let's look at the plan of the essay. First, brainstorming. This is the most important part of the essay. Any PTE trainer will tell you this. If you don't know what to write, then you will never understand how to go about doing it. So, first and foremost, the moment you see your topic on screen, use your erasable notebook booklet, or if you're practicing, use a rough notebook to immediately start brainstorming. That basically means generating ideas. Pick out important words or keywords from the topic given, list them down, then see how you can give proper reasons or justification. Think of examples, identify other keywords if you feel that you are not getting enough to brainstorm. Next, structure the paragraphs. When you're structuring your paragraph, you must think which point you're going to start with, which point you're going to end with, what kind of examples you're going to use, because examples are a must. You must give at least one example for one reason or justification. Now the next important bit, write in paragraphs. You will be given 4 to 5 paragraphs. All of them are supposed to have individual ideas which are connected with the help of proper conjunctions and linking phrases. This will basically determine the coherence. Once you're done, make sure you are coherent. Do not go off topic. This is extremely important. If you go off topic, or if you start with one particular keyword or phrase and then you start only explaining about that without actually connecting that to the other ideas, you will lose out on your scores. The other thing is, don't give too many examples. Examples are separate, reasons and justifications are separate. You don't combine the two. Most of the time students put examples as a reason or justification without really elaborating much. It will not really give you a score. Again, the most important bit, do not repeat or rephrase any argument. The moment you do this, it basically means that you do not have enough content, you have not done your brainstorming properly, and there is nothing new about it. So you will lose out again on your development, coherence and structure of the essay. Now here is a sample. Let us analyze it. Before that, you are given an instruction. This is your instruction. You will have 20 minutes to plan, write and revise an essay about a topic below. Your response will be judged on how well you develop a position, organize your ideas, present supporting details, and the standard elements of standard written English. You should write 200 to 300 words. In the developed world, the average life expectancy is increasing. What problems will this cause for individuals and society? Suggest some measures that could be taken to reduce the impact of aging populations. Let us look at how this particular essay can be properly structured and how you can ultimately deliver the message that the task requires you to do. So first you have your paragraph 1, which is your introduction. This basically consists of your background statement, your thesis statement and your transitional sentence. The background statement is taken or written on the basis of information given in your task. The thesis statement is a personal opinion. Now let's take a look at the structure of paragraph 2. This is your first supporting argument. You begin with a topic sentence. The topic sentence here is the aging population will bring about rising costs to society. You must explain this further. You can put in 2 problems here and give one example each to substantiate your reasoning. The first one states that with old age comes a multitude of health problems, which at times causes an increase in society's tax burden. Now, as you notice, a very good word has been used here to depict the seriousness as well as the magnitude or the extent of the problems, and that is multitude. So if you want better scores for vocabulary, you could use words like this. Instead of just saying many problems, you could say multitude of health problems. Now, the next point to note here is increase in society's tax burden. How do we know that? Let's go to the example. The example states that if a large amount of population is elderly and retired, pension costs and taxes will increase, thus creating a burden for younger tax-paying individuals. So this is a justification for the increase in society's tax burden. Now let's come to problem 2. The second problem is the financial strain and how it further affects their decision-making capabilities. So here it says that the financial strain on young people affects their relationships with their parents and forces them to take wrong decisions. What do we mean by this? Look at the example given to substantiate this particular idea. A recent study indicated that people are abandoning their aged parents in nursing homes to avoid the financial responsibility they come with. So again, instead of just saying it's becoming expensive or the cost of living is too high, you can use the phrase financial strain on whom young people. You can talk about the results of the financial strain and then further elaborate. So when doing so, make sure that all your ideas are connected. Remember, coherence is very important. So whatever you say, you must justify in the next sentence. Now, let's go on to the next paragraph. This is paragraph 3. This is the structure. This is your second supporting argument. Now, once again, introduce your topic. Some solutions could be implemented. Now, remember that in the previous paragraph, you mentioned 2 problems and given 2 examples as well. In this particular paragraph, take up the first solution to the first problem. In this case, it says, if the government increases the retirement age, then increasing costs could be reduced. So we were talking about financial strain. So this could be one solution to it. How do you justify it? By giving the following example. An increase in the retirement age would determine an increase in pensions funded by the government. The older generation could spend more time teaching their craft and skills to the younger generation. Now this example is a bit elaborated. It's more of supporting the idea given in the solution. Now let's look at the next paragraph and the next solution. This paragraph 4. A lot of times people write 2 problems in one particular paragraph and then they write 2 solutions to that in the next paragraph. But if you want to elaborate a little bit more and want to explain a little bit more, you can divide your solutions into 2 paragraphs. Topic sentence. Here it says, the healthcare industry should focus more on promoting health-related programs and initiatives. So this is again a response to aging population and the health issues they face. And the solution given for this, or rather the explanation of that particular topic sentence, which is further elaborated, is as follows. Then the potential risks of older generation becoming a financial burden to their families could be mitigated. Now, you could say that it could be removed, it could be reduced, but if you use words like mitigated or obliterated, again, you are using better vocabulary. It also enhances your language skills. Remember, linguistic skills is one of the criteria. So use good vocabulary, try to use it in the form of a complex sentence especially, that will really give you a better score. Further, the writer says, with the right preparedness, the potential problem of higher taxes could be avoided. So again, how the financial burden could be reduced by promoting health programs. Now let's look at the example. As I have mentioned, you will always be confused about what to add as an example and think about, okay, should I do this or should I do that? But the best thing to do is first look at your own personal experience and see if you've, come across anybody with a similar situation. If you haven't, then try thinking of maybe movies or books or any articles in the newspapers. The best thing I always suggest to do is to refer to journals and articles, because they give you statistics, they give you the right kind of information, and the example would be best described if you actually select those. In this case, it says a recent study published by the University of California states that older people thrive more and more and are more active when they receive better treatment and better healthcare and contribute to society for a longer period of time. So this is a complex sentence. You are talking about a study and what the study shows and what are the results of it. These medical advances would also help future generations as they get older. Now we come to paragraph 4, which is your conclusion. Summarize your information here and give a suggestion or prediction. You can say that countless measures can be taken to assess and implement solutions in a way that they offset potential problems from the aging population. So countless measures again refers to the several or different types of things people can do, but if you use good vocabulary like this, you will definitely get a better score. What can be done? Taken to assess and implement solutions. So instead of saying that provide solutions or check for solutions, use words like assess and implement. You could also say analyze for assess, or you could also use the word impose for implement. Make sure that you are mentioning the entire key focus of this essay, and that is the aging population, in the sentence. The suggestion given here is, for this to work, both individuals and the government needs to come together. Essay practices. Now here are two very relatable topics, something that you experience in your daily life. When analyzing, make sure you jot down your points as mentioned before, put the structure in, think properly, how you're going to say what you're going to say. Most importantly, think of the words you're going to use. The first topic is, with industrialization moving at a fast pace, pollution is becoming a noticeable environmental concern. State some of the most glaring problems that the world is facing and provide solutions for the same. The second topic is, the internet has transformed the way information is shared and consumed, but it has also created problems that did not exist before. What are the most serious problems associated with the internet, and what solutions can you suggest? So go ahead, make great points, make sure you give examples. Examples are very, very important, and use good grammar and vocabulary to do your practice. You can follow the strategies that are coming up next to ensure that your practice is good and up to the mark. Let us look at some strategies to do the essay writing correctly. You can use this in your essay practice. First, analyze the task thoroughly. Identify the keywords. This again will be found in your topic itself. Write them down, try to brainstorm. A certain specific aspects of the topic, there might be certain topics where you are asked to only give a certain type of opinion, so be very careful. Understand the prompt very clearly. To do the brainstorming and to generate ideas and develop your structure, you can use the erasable noteboard booklet. You can make notes here. You can outline those notes, and you can use those outline notes to actually present your thoughts and ideas. Make sure that when you are writing down your thoughts and ideas, you are also including relevant examples, so that when you are typing the actual task, you don't actually look or think and waste time as to what example would be perfect for any particular point that you've given. Most importantly, ensure that you are covering all aspects of the question. Your essay should be properly organized. By organization, I mean proper paragraphing structure. Under each paragraph, the kind of sentences that are to be used, and make sure that those sentences are properly connected to each other. Once the 20 minutes are up, the screen will stop responding. So make sure that you keep your eye on the time. Timing is very important in PTE. There are often some common errors that students make while doing the essay writing, and they are: 1. Not understanding the topic. Now, as I mentioned earlier, break down your topic completely, take down points. If you don't do that, you will completely go off topic. Sometimes students pick up one particular word and just harp on and on about that particular idea and forget about the rest. You will lose your points in structure and coherence. Next, not being able to identify or elaborate ideas. At times, students get stuck on one particular idea and they don't know how this idea is prevalent in other aspects or scenarios, and therefore they get stuck and they cannot move ahead. Next, at times in their enthusiasm to prove their point, students often use irrelevant points and examples, and that again will cause you to lose your score. You must never use casual or informal language in the essay writing test, any essay writing test, and more so in the PTE essay writing test. Language like hey, hi, what's up, These kind of words must be completely avoided. Next, using incorrect grammatical structures. This basically means not writing proper sentences and most importantly not following the subject plus verb agreement. Next, making spelling errors. This is the most common error. Even the best of people sometimes falter. It could be something very simple as THEIR being written as THIER, or receive and receive. Simple words where it is easily interchangeable. So make sure that this particular thing is not there. Using incorrect punctuation. Some students tend to use hyphens or semicolons without thinking. So that will again pose another problem. That is a major grammatical error that you must avoid. Writing abbreviations or contracted forms. This again is an issue. If you write GOVT dot instead of the whole word government, you will be penalized. If you write can't, CAN apostrophe T, instead of writing cannot or don't, these words are contracted forms of words. If you write them, you will definitely be penalized. You will lose scores. Again, as I mentioned earlier, in terms of grammatical structures, not maintaining the subject-verb agreement. For example, he like me instead of saying he likes me. Or she go there instead of saying she goes there. These are minor errors when you're listening, but actually they are major errors when it comes to scoring. Also, not using proper coordinating conjunctions or linking phrases to connect ideas. A lot of times and goes missing, or however, although, but. These are all coordinating conjunctions and linking phrases that connect your sentences and bring out the proper meaning, whether it is a contrasting meaning or it is a meaning that indicates including ideas. These are some basic things and basic areas where you can lose scores of marks, and these are some common errors that students must definitely correct. Now here are some tips that you can use while doing the preparation for the test, and they are: number one, build your vocabulary. Writing is all about grammar and vocabulary. If you manage to sharpen those skills, then you can write on any topic under the sun. Next, like I said, hone your grammar skills. This means everything from tenses to articles, prepositions, nouns, adjectives, adverbs, everything must be in the correct form. Third and very important, master the sentence formation. Again, students often tend to write or miss out on simple words or coordinating conjunctions and things like that. And is gone missing, or the or is gone missing. That affects the entire sentence formation. So work on your sentence formation and structure. In order to write better and remember better, in case you get any kind of topic, in case you're not familiar, it's always good to identify some functional words and phrases used on a regular basis and learn them up. Every time you write, see how you can include them in your writing. Next, read. Read voraciously. Read books, read magazines, read newspapers. All of these things will definitely enhance your vocabulary. You can always start off with short novels or short stories, or pick up something that is within your comfort zone and start to expand. Pick out words and phrases from there, take a note of them, check the dictionary, see in what context they are used. Practice verbs, tenses, adjectives, prepositions, pronouns, and conjunctions. These are very common and very basic grammar requirements, and often people falter if they miss out on any one of them. Practice linking phrases that denote how to introduce or conclude an idea, like I would like to begin with, or in conclusion. Introduce or begin an idea. Next, highlight differences or similarities. Here you can talk about similarly, or use words like that, similarly. If you're highlighting any differences, you could say in contrast or opposite to what has been said, or as opposed to. If you're talking about a continuity or change in a topic, again, continuity, you could say that eventually, gradually. Further, if you're talking about a change, then you can mention phrases like there was a transformation, or a slight change was detected, or there was a noticeable improvement. These kind of words and phrases will definitely give you an edge in terms of vocabulary. Next, practice within the word and time limit. PT is completely timed, especially essay writing. In 20 minutes, you have to do so much. So make sure you practice within the word and time limit. You can always start off by writing on topics that you feel comfortable with, but then gradually expand to different subjects, because you never know what is coming for the test. When doing so, again, make sure you use correct punctuation and spelling. Learn the usage of full stops, exclamation marks, question marks, especially colon, semicolon, hyphen, etc. Students are often found using ellipses. Ellipses are nothing but 3 dots that you put. That indicates that there's something else that comes after that particular sentence. But if you do that in the middle of the test, this will affect your entire presentation. So be very careful. Once more, practice writing with coherence. That is basically connecting your ideas properly, and ensure that you conclude properly. A good essay always begins with a good introduction and ends with a good conclusion. That is the end of this particular explanation. All the best with your essay practice.